How's it going, everybody? Today I want to talk about sports gambling. That's right, sports gambling. Now, if you are a male under the age of 35 and you have some inkling towards risk, technology, and sports, I'm sure that you are either familiar with or a full-blown sports gambling addict. Now, I'd like to preface this by saying, one, I am not judging you. Okay? There is no judge here, no judgment. I'm merely wanting to discuss my opinion of sports gambling, my observations, and just kind of hear back from you guys here in the comment section. I want to open up some discussion and see where people are standing. Secondly, I'm not a saint, okay? I love to gamble. Now, I'm not a gambling addict, but I like to go to the casino with the boys, rip some darts, throw back some cold ones, play blackjack. It's my favorite game. Now, every time I bet, I usually don't pull out more than like a couple $100, so it doesn't break the bank. And I usually go maybe, I don't know, once or twice a year. So it's nothing too crazy. So all this to say is, I don't think that there's anything wrong necessarily with gambling, but I think if you are going to gamble, you should do it sparingly, right? Like this shouldn't be one of those things where you're like, oh, every time there's a sports game, I have to put money on it, or every time X happens, I have to do Y, and that Y is betting money on gambling. So today we're going to talk about sports gambling, and yeah, like I said before, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we're going to jump right into it. So I want to start by sharing a story, and this story involves the 2026 Super Bowl. Now, like I said previously, never been super big into sports. Like I played sports in high school, played football, and I like to watch the games in person. If I get tickets, I'll go. But when it comes to the Super Bowl, of course, like it's a great time to get together with your friends, spend time with those you love and care about, drink some beer, enjoy each other's company, right? So of course, like we get together, we're going to this bar to watch the Super Bowl. We show up like super early. It's 2:30. We're drinking, having a grand old time, just waiting for the game to start. And one thing I've tried to get in a better habit of is becoming more cognizant of my surroundings and just taking everything in, trying to enjoy the moment as much as possible. And one thing I picked up on was these guys were talking about all their picks or their plays that they had lined up for the game. Well, I'm hearing some of these bets that these guys are discussing, and it was completely foreign to me. Like, I obviously knew sports gambling was a thing, and I knew people put money on, yardage or scores or things of that nature. But what I didn't realize was how much of the bets, or like how many of the bets, actually had nothing to do with the game that was being played. A lot of these bets had to do with the time of the national anthem, the color of the Gatorade, whether or not Green Day was going to perform a certain song at the opening show. And that really blew me back because like I quickly realized like wow, this behemoth of sports gambling is a lot bigger than I had originally thought. Not only are people betting on their team or who they think is going to win, and maybe they're doing some sort of statistical analysis or they're looking at historical gameplay, who knows, right? But when it comes to these bets, like these side bets, is honestly what I would compare them to, like side bets in blackjack. These side bets are definitely making a majority of the money for these gambling sites. I mean, people are putting lots of money down, and it was just completely insane. Like that was my first time really seeing that, and I think every bet that I saw these guys place, they lost, and obviously that didn't end up losing like a crazy amount of money. Like maybe they lost like 20, $50, but still, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, over time that stacks up, and you get the point. But yeah, that was just crazy to me. Like I did not realize how invasive gambling had entrenched itself into I guess culture, sports culture, the sports environment. Pretty crazy stuff. So now I want to talk about why sports gambling is bad. Obviously, gambling is not like good, right? I mean, everybody knows that the house has the edge. I'm not going to sit here and explain to you guys how you're destined to lose all your money when you sports bet. I mean, everybody knows that you don't actually have a chance when it comes to the house, right? I mean, there's all sorts of things that they have set in place to make sure you lose. And if you don't know that, well, you're in for a very rude awakening. Maybe you should go check out another YouTube video and then come back and watch this one. But what I want to really talk about is how the sports gambling differs so greatly from the other forms of gambling, like casino gambling, for instance, like where they have the table games and the slots, whatever it may be. Obviously, I think things are starting to change with the arrival of, online gambling websites and apps. I think those can be honestly grouped into the same category of destruction or detriment that sports gambling is. But I think the largest factor that drives the damage or the detriment that this form of gambling causes has to do with the fact that it is so easily accessible, right? Let's say you're somebody who has a gambling problem. You're a gambling addict. Well, you may have to go to a casino and physically type into the ATM, pull out money so you can pay the dealer, right? Now, obviously, anybody could do that. If you have a will, you have a way. If you are seriously somebody who has a gambling problem, you're going to find a way to do that. But let's say you don't have necessarily the biggest inclination to gamble, right? Like maybe you like to gamble, but you're not going to drive to a casino, right? You're not going to go to another state. You're not going to do all these things that you would normally have to do, these hurdles that you would have to jump over to actually gamble. Well, sports gambling changes that because it puts the casino in your back pocket, right? Rather than having to go to a casino, pull out money, talk to a dealer, sit there and contemplate, think about your bets, all you have to do is pull out your phone and press a button. And to me, that's the craziest part about sports gambling. And the reason why I say it's crazy is because it just goes to show like these casinos, these online casinos, they don't even care that everybody knows what they're doing. Like, I feel like there should be some shame in running a business that is known for just taking people's money, taking advantage of people's weaknesses. But the fact that they've gotten so bold to the point where they're like, oh yeah, we made an app so you can just gamble from anywhere. That's just literally insane to me. It just goes to show like how little these companies actually care about you and how much they are willing to sacrifice. I mean, they don't really have to sacrifice anything, but I guess from a societal perspective, like how much they're willing to sacrifice to meet their bottom line. And I think that says a lot more about the people who control these companies than anything else. But, we don't have to get into that today. I don't want to get banned off YouTube. But yeah, that's just absolutely insane to me. And then another thing that I think is worth noting is that I feel like almost nobody sees sports gambling as the problem that it is. You know, if you're somebody who has like an actual, well, we'll call it a real gambling addiction. You're a true gambling addict. You get paid, you go to the casino, you put all your money down on black, and you lose it all. And you take out payday loans and you do the same, and blah blah blah. Let's say you're one of these guys, right? Everybody and their mother is gonna sit there and say, you have a problem, you need to get help. This is not okay. But for some reason, when it comes to the sports gambling, I guess because it's so much more pervasive and like it's on your phone, so I guess that makes it more socially acceptable. It seems like nobody could give a rat's ass. And that's the craziest thing. Like, I'll talk to some buddies or some people just like at work, and they'll talk about how much money they lost on a bet. And, it may not be like a crazy amount of money at the moment, like $100 or a couple $100, but like these are some people. Some of these people are betting on every game, and these bets get bigger, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. And to me, that's just like scary. Like I feel like as a society, and obviously there's nothing that like you or I can do individually, but I feel like we need to get to a point where we recognize that just because you're betting on a game or just because you're pressing buttons on a phone and it's socially acceptable and Dave Portnoy is promoting it, like that shouldn't matter. It should still be seen for what it is, as uh, like a tool that sucks your life force, that literally steals your lifeblood. I mean, think about it. Like you work for money, you trade your life for money, right? Everybody does that because we want to be able to afford things. And these casinos take advantage of of your desire to not want to have to work or to want to make a little extra money, and they literally steal your lifeblood. Now, obviously, the people who fall into it are just as complicit, but at the end of the day, it's like these people are scummy. They don't care about you, and if you're losing hundreds or thousands of dollars on this stuff, you need to do some deep self-reflection. Now, I'm sure if you're somebody who has a problem with sports gambling, or maybe you know somebody who has a problem with sports gambling, you can acknowledge how detrimental this is, or how detrimental of a problem this is to your mental health, to your financial well-being, to like nearly every aspect of your life. And I don't make this video or say any of the things I say to put you down or make you feel bad. Like, hopefully that's apparent by the end of this. But I just think it's important for you, if you do have one of these problems, to take a step back and acknowledge that there is a problem that exists. Because being able to acknowledge that you do have an issue or that something isn't right is the first step towards like actually getting better and improving your life. I talked about this in my prior video, when I talked about like the problem with weed. Like when I stepped away from weed, I did it because I realized like there's an issue here. Like I don't feel good. Like it doesn't bring me any benefits. It's not good for me. And from that point, I was able to get over it. Now I don't have a problem with gambling. Obviously, like I like to gamble occasionally, but I don't have like a sports gambling addiction. Thank God. But I do want to say, if you are struggling through this, that you shouldn't beat yourself up, because it's not the end of the road. Like at the end of the day, everybody has problems, everybody has struggles, and some people's are much more difficult than yours are. Like honestly, I feel like we're pretty blessed to have a lot of the problems that we have in today's day and age. Like we could literally be like a 5-year-old kid in the Middle East with their legs blown off. I know that's kind of graphic and cynical maybe, but I think that whatever your position may be, like wherever you are in life, you should do what you can to improve and to become the best person you can be, because these gambling sites, like this whole culture, it's not doing you any good, and you're you're honestly, you could be so much more. Like my life improved so much when I took off the shackles of weed. Like that sounds kind of corny to say, but that's just what it is. And I think that if you're willing to be proactive and do what you have to do to make the right choices, that your life will improve drastically. So that being said, I want to thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far into the video, like I said before, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Share some knowledge, spit some game. If you think I'm wrong on anything, cuss me out, hit me up, let me know. Just fill me in on what you guys are thinking. But until next time, it's great talking with you.